What's up, guys? Matthew here from Money and Mirth with another low-budget crypto episode. I want to talk to you about the FIT21 Act that was just passed by the House over in America and talk about how that relates to Mr. Clown here, Gary Gensler. So let's jump straight into it. This will be a quick one. The story here is that the White House and the SEC were opposing the FIT21 bill that's just gone through the House for a vote. This bill basically will introduce the CTFC as the regulatory body instead of the SEC for a lot of cryptocurrency industry, which generally speaking, people see as a very bullish and good thing. The reason the White House and Gary say they don't like this is that it will create more backdoors and risk more consumer harm and this kind of a thing, which is a bit of a joke because we've seen in the past that the SEC had no issue at all, did nothing about FTX, Celsius, all of these bankruptcies and everything else that went wrong. And they just seem to rarely step in, like with the Kraken episode, over things that don't matter. And here they are again opposing this bill, saying it will be bad for consumers. But do you know what? Actually, this time, maybe Mr. Burns over here, maybe he's right. So let's have a look at this. So the House of Reps actually just passed the bill, which means next up it will go to the Senate. Maybe it will get shot down there. So potentially what we're talking about today won't really matter. But I think it's interesting nonetheless just to have a quick look at it. If we take a look at the changes that they're trying to bring in, this is the new documentation with all the amendments that they're looking to make to the law, which again they've just approved in the House fairly unanimously, or at least bipartisan. Both sides are in agreement. And the key thing in here that Gary says he doesn't like and that we should all be scared about is the fact that it says here, any person may certify to the SEC that the blockchain systems to which a digital asset relates is a decentralized network. What that means is that basically anyone can come along and say, hey, I've got this crypto on this blockchain. It's not a security. I don't need to register this with you. And that means we can sell these tokens to absolutely anybody without having all of the regulatory processes that go through in the middle and all the things, checks and balances in place to protect consumers from getting scammed. So what does it mean to prove that your blockchain is decentralized? Well, they're basically, it's kind of obvious. It's things like, is it proof of work or proof of stake? Was there a pre-mine? Do a handful of people own most of the tokens? Is there a way in the network that a handful of people could control the kind of the decision making, or could they fork and move to a new source code? These kind of things. Basically, does anybody have too much power, too much voting rights? And if the answer to that is dressed up in a good enough way to say no, then no longer do the SEC get to step in and have any say on how you sell your tokens if this gets passed. So if you remember back to 2017, I believe it was, like the ICO mania to 2017 into 2018, everyone and their dog was listing a brand new coin with a white paper and like lots of fanfare, basically like how a company would launch themselves and put themselves onto the public market for people to buy their stock, right? And there was a big hoo-ha about that because literally everything was a scam. Everyone lost their money and it was just kind of a joke, except for the venture capitalists which were behind all these ICO scams. This kind of legislation, this kind of a change, basically self-certification in the financial industry, as far as I'm aware, is always abused. Like, why wouldn't it be? If bad actors can make a lot of money and all they have to do is kind of fill in some paperwork saying, nah, it's not centralized, don't worry about it, then of course they're going to try. And it's not going to be that difficult. I'm no expert, let's say, in nodes and like all of the kind of technicalities of the blockchain. That's not me. But it's not difficult to disguise who owns the voting rights, because if you have a ton of coins spread across tons of wallets, I don't see how the CTFC or anybody is going to figure out who owns them, who are they, how are they related to each other. So you can easily have a network of people, whether they're real or anonymous, who knows, and there will be some sort of collusion going on behind the scenes, just like there is in the markets already. So yeah, Gary, bless him, he's kind of an idiot and a bit of a clown, and he's probably just doing what he's told to do at the end of the day, like a lot of them. But he's not. I don't think he's wrong here. If this goes through, probably it will cause a massive bull run because suddenly the gates are open for big money to come back and abuse the public again by rushing out tons of projects, claiming they're all decentralized. And they'll no doubt, with their very smart lawyers and smart tech guys and all the rest of it, figure out ways of self-certifying projects that actually aren't really decentralized, and they can dump all those coins on people all over again. There's always a way. There's always a way. So I think this is kind of fascinating, something to keep an eye on. If it does get approved in the Senate, expect this to be yet another catalyst onto the bull run, particularly for the altcoin market, because this will be used as a massive, massive excuse for everybody to say it's time to buy, because no one will have any fear anymore that what they're buying is actually an unregistered or unlicensed security, which could be trouble for everybody involved. So yeah, if this goes through, it's just another green light for a crazy crypto party. And that's great for people that are kind of more well informed. So stay in touch. Check the links down below and join our Discord community if you're interested in crypto and trading and silly memes and shit like that. But for people that don't really know what's going on and just watch the news and watch X and read things on Reddit, yeah, this is the door to pandemonium all over again. So could be great for bull run. On the flip side, when it's time for the bear market to begin, I'll be looking for the Senate and everybody to suddenly point at this if it's been approved, maybe 1 year later or whatever, and say, oh, whoops, that was a mistake. And then they'll remove the ability for firms to self-certify potentially, which will like click a button and will be from bull mode to bear mode, just like that. So these kind of things, to me, the way I view how the world works, they're buttons and levers. And this is a button that can be basically now pressed to make tons of money, attract lots of people into the market, and then they can press the button again when they're ready to kill the market, once they've all built up massive short holdings on all these coins that they'll then say, oh, actually, they're not really legal anymore. Sorry about that. But hey, I don't know. Maybe I'm just too cynical in my growing old age. So that's it. Yeah, that's what's going on. Just sort of kind of share that. If you want to look this up, head over to congress.gov. You can find these bills. They're incredibly hard to read. I'm not going to pretend I've read the whole thing, but you need to compare these amendments with the existing acts that are already in place, and it's a nightmare. And this is probably a good use case for AI. If AI could actually help people, normal people, make sense of what the hell these people are doing in the law, when they're changing laws and legislation, it is incredibly difficult to even just figure out this one thing that I was looking for. Like, how are they going to handle this self-certification? Let's hope that AI isn't just like all a bad thing and some people figure out some good use cases. Last thing I want to say whilst we're all here, again, if you're into crypto and trading, check the link below to join our community, because we've got something big coming up in the pipeline. Me and some of my guys, let's say, who've been working on crypto projects in the past, particularly with trading signals and crypto, are developing a new system that you can see here. And this system effectively is a killer on the 4-hour charts and 15-minute charts. And it essentially just tells you when are a good time to trade and get in and when is a good time to get out. So something like a trading signal, but it's more I wouldn't say it's more complicated than that, actually. For the user, for you guys, if you want to try this, it's very simple. But effectively, we're packing in an entire research team into this indicator. So if you were a hedge fund manager, let's say, and you were deciding whether to sort of buy things and sell things, you wouldn't do that yourself. You would have a team of researchers, risk analysts, these kind of things. And that's what all of these color codes are on this screen. And basically, when your entire team is telling you it's time to buy, that's the only time you want to be trading. Because let's be honest, most people when they're trading, the reason they're losing money is because they're just not really sure what they're supposed to be doing and end up trading at the wrong times. Because there are massive, massive parts of trading where you shouldn't do anything at all. So we're developing this tool to help people know when to get into the market and when to get out of the market. And it's not going to be perfect, but you can see just on this example with OM, this one signal here, that's a 68% move. Clean, easy money, and that's on a 4-hour chart. So you get in, take your time, and then you're going to get out 7 days later. So even if you're busy working and you've got a full-time job, this type of a system can work really well for you. If you're looking to trade on a daily basis and you've got the time to sit there on the charts, then the 15-minute time frame can also help you out a lot in the same system. It's just a little bit more volatile. So what does this cost? Well, that's the cool thing. We're going to be running this ideally for a sustained period of time for free because we want your feedback. So get into the community, and when we're ready, because we're still doing some internal testing and tweaking, setting up some automated alerts, all of this kind of a thing to make this a really usable, easy, functional product. Get into community now, and we'll set up a waiting list for people that are interested. And once we're done with all our internal tweaks, we'll roll this out to you guys on a public beta test and give you guys a chance to use this. Now, there's always a chance that we don't launch this, we find some horrible things wrong, something like that. So I could be jumping the gun here, but I think this will be good to go relatively soon. So again, check the links down below if you want free access to a tool that is really, really powerful and coming from a team with a proven track record. Yeah. All right, that's it. I won't say too much more about this. I'll make some other dedicated videos to it. But in the meantime, all hail the SEC and the clown that is Gary Gensler, and let's see what happens with that FIT21 Act and whether it gets through the Senate or not, and take it from there. All right, see you guys. Bye-bye now.